We are going to start. I'm going to keep bringing people in the room as we go. Guys, I'm excited for today's webinar for one main reason. It's one of my favorite subjects, video content. And video content is one of the things that scare people the most, because you might be sitting here. I want you guys to imagine for a second using video content to have prospects reach out to you. Imagine that you're putting out video content and you're actually getting messages on a platform like LinkedIn, where prospects are actually reaching out to you saying, hey, I really like your content. I really like what you've had to say. We would love to schedule a meeting if you have the time. We'd love to talk to you. Imagine walking into first meetings with prospects, having them feel like they know you already. One of the greatest gifts video content has done for my business is to meet advisors like you. And before we ever have a conversation, have you feel like you already know me. And that changes your prospecting discussion and puts it on an entirely different level. Because what we're talking about today, here's the problem in our industry right now, and I'd say in sales in general. It is harder to build a relationship with a prospect today than it's ever been, if you really think about it. Since the pandemic, it is not as easy to build a relationship as it used to be. And the way we train producers in the industry has not kept up with how we build relationships today. I tell people all the time, when I got in the industry 20 years ago, and some of you might feel the same way, you know what I was told when I was 23? Number one, I was told to dye my hair gray because it would give me more credibility. Number two, I was told to go join a country club that I couldn't afford and go eat at the most expensive places in town because that's where the CEOs hang out. Well, here's the reality today, guys. In 2023, this is your country club. This is where people are hanging out. And so you have got to figure out a way, how can I use video to create name recognition for my best prospects? And what we're talking about today, what I'm going to have Jake come on and do today is give you a very easy to follow process to create more effective videos. So if you're joining us and number one, you haven't created a video yet and you're hesitant to put your first one out here, it is going to help you. Two, you just started, but you're like, I need to learn some of the basic things to really get going. Well, even if you're creating a lot of content right now, you're like, I'm trying to take my videos to the next level. This is going to be helpful. Video content is still king. Now, here's what we often have. When I meet with advisors and I try to convince them to use video, there's three types of disbeliefs. You have the pervasive disbelief, which is, I don't think video content is even useful. I think it's pointless. You have people who say, I get video content can be useful, but I don't think it's going to be as effective in our industry. And then you have others who say, well, I see others in our industry do it, but it really doesn't apply to my market. We're going to try to shatter all those disbeliefs. Video is the best way to create likability and credibility with your prospects. And you need to have both to win today. Other than speaking, there is no other form of content that is going to help you, help a prospect get to know you and learn from you at the same time. But you're going to have fear. I'm sure some of you are sitting in this webinar right now and you're saying, cool, but I am willing to admit before I hit record, I have a little fear of judgment. I have a fear of comparison. I'm going to compare myself to others who are doing video, or I'm just afraid to fail. I don't want to try this and feel like I suck at it. Guys, that's where we've all been. All of us who have done video have been in that position a time or two.
Yeah, nice.
But what Jake is going to go through today is a 4-step process that you can use to get going, to create better videos. And I'll share one more thing before I bring Jake on. Here was my epiphany, guys.
220 out. 230.
If you are a client of ours, you have heard this at length, but for those who have not worked with us, our process, we teach a process we call the complete game marketing playbook. And in one of those processes, in one of our modules, we talk about creating championship content. And what changed my career when I moved out to Colorado in 2014 and knew nobody was how to create exponential awareness, how to get one message in front of as many people at one time as I possibly can. And video is the best way to do that right now, as long as you stay consistent. And here's what we've experienced at Complete Game Consulting with video content. We don't have to do as much outbound marketing as we used to because we have inbound leads coming in. We have likability and credibility with our prospects. We're jumping on calls with prospects who already know us. And it's made selling easier because people have this perception that we are everywhere. And that's what we're talking about today. Anybody can do what we do. Anybody can do what Jake does, as long as you're willing to put in the work. And the truth is, you're going to suck at it at first. It's just the truth. But the more time, the more practice you put in it, the better you're going to get. Just like you've been taught to practice cold calling. The more practice you put in the video, the better it's going to get. And this is why I'm excited to share Jake. I'm going to share my screen for a second, and I'm going to pull up my LinkedIn profile. So some of you have seen my content. I guarantee it, because I know we put a lot out there, and I'm sure we annoy some of you. But if you look at my content, and I'm going to pull up one specific content, one thing you've seen a lot from us lately is content, videos that look like this, videos that look like, trying to pull one up here. I should have had this pulled up sooner. Video looks like this. All these videos you are seeing, guys, Jake is the man behind these videos. This is one of the reasons that we're able to create exponential awareness and put ourselves out there all the time with video content is because of what he's doing behind the scenes. And why I wanted to have Jake on is Jake has built an amazing presence with video content in the 401k space. Some of you may even know his brand, 401 Jake. Well, he has now taken that and he has created a digital marketing company. So I wanted Jake to come on to teach you how to create better videos. So Jake, with that being said, the floor is yours, my friend.
All right. Thanks, Andy.
That's great.
Can you mute Evan? I think he's out on the course, smacking a ball. Oh, I'm so excited to be here. This is fun. Thank you so much, Andy, for having me. Thank you for taking time out of your day. Those of you that don't know, I know a few of you. I'm glad you're here. I really am excited to just share some of the things that I've been working on and trying to get better at myself for the last 4 years. So I'm going to share quite a bit and give you some real tactical things to try. I've been a huge fan of Andy's for many years. I was lucky enough to reach out to him and have him respond when he was out here in Utah. A few years ago.
You got it covered. Just got to knock it in.
Yeah, let's see if we can you mute Evan?
Hey guys, we need somebody to mute themselves, please.
There it is. Okay. So let's dive in. I'm going to share some slides and then we're going to pause and go through just some showing you how to do things as well. So the reason we're here today is Andy and I have a very similar interest and we want to see our industries improve. We want to see better results. And the way to do that is to get more attention on the right people that are doing good things. Because more likely you're doing awesome things. You're just doing it one by one behind closed doors. And we need to capture more of that and share more of that. Before we dive in though, does anybody recognize or know who this person is? John Landy. Any ideas what he did that made him famous? And you might not even know him. Put it in the chat or raise your hand or just shout it out if you know what he did that made him famous when he was younger. Nobody? Okay, I'll give you a hint. This is him in the front here. He's running. He's from Australia. This is back in the 50s. I'll give you another hint. The guy behind him's first name is Roger. Anyone yet? No. Okay. John Landy was the second man to break the 4-minute mile. And the reason I bring that up is he more well known probably in Australia from his country. He actually was a governor and did a lot of amazing things in his life, but he was second to break the 4-minute mile. And at the time, most of the world, you can see all those people behind in the stands, did not think it was humanly possible. They thought that that was not, you couldn't do it. Well, these men proved that you could. Now, I want you to think about yourself and your business and what is happening right now with this opportunity. Are you a believer? Do you actually think that you can do great things? Do you have an actual belief? Because this opportunity is not going to last forever. Your chance to be on the track, to be competing with each other and to stand out is right now. And I hope that I can kind of inspire you and get you excited about it, bring some energy, because I know that it's not going to be an easy process because I've gone through it all myself. I'm still in the middle of it. I'm still a 401k advisor. I still get to deal with the tough day to day. And what I do notice that most of you probably have this same problem. You want more clients. Doesn't matter if you're retiring next year or you just started this year. Everybody wants more clients. It's a common problem we're all trying to solve. We're all working hard to do things to grab more clients, and we will jump at anything we think will work. And what if I told you there's a faster way to do it with less money? Well, I know that there's a lot of tricks out there and fast wins people will try to sell you. I constantly get bombarded by messages with automated responses and things in LinkedIn, and people buy this stuff. Otherwise, those companies wouldn't still be doing it. And I see it often in our industries, in benefits, where we try to buy that easy button. But unfortunately, it doesn't work all the time and usually go out, lose a lot of money and a lot of time. So I want to share with you how you can actually get ahead and not have to just spend all this extra money on things that don't work. You're all great at dealing with people. And most likely, if you can get that opportunity to be face-to-face with a prospect, you're going to win that client. You wouldn't know Andy and not have that skill. He's taught so much valuable information on how to do that. But now we need to do that more than just inside that one room. And whether you believe me today and take action and start to work on your video content, both on social and inside your business with your communication, it's really going to depend on if you're willing to take that chance. And if you don't do it today, I can promise you in the future, what will happen is a younger advisor or consultant will come along and they'll take video content serious and they'll know a lot less about the industry, about benefits, about self-funded, about captives, about 401ks. They'll know way less, but they will know how to grab more attention and they'll take video content serious and they will take your clients. And that's when you'll wake up and take it, you'll pay attention. And then you'll start to take action. So whether you do it today or when you wait for that to happen, it's going to happen. So I don't want you to wait for this to be the new normal. If you think back 4 years to 2019, we didn't use the word Zoom like we do today. We don't jump on these calls back then where half of you have your video turned on. If you were on the same Zoom call, it probably would have taken you another 5 minutes to try to figure out how to get on here. And most of you wouldn't turn on your cameras. The new normal is you get on with your camera, you turn it on. That is the new normal that's happening right in front of you every single day on social media and inside of businesses. People are busy. They don't want to have meeting after meeting. They would rather consume information when they want to on their own time. And if they can't find anything from you, they're going to find it from somebody else. So here's our agenda today. I want to go through just a quick introduction, who I am, why you should even pay attention to what anything I'm saying, also get your mindset in the right place. And then we'll go through my prep video process, which I've been doing not only in my own business, but I've also been doing for other businesses like Andy's. So 401 Jake, Andy mentioned this, and some of you on here I know are in the 401k space, and some of you, most of you are in the benefits space, and 401k is kind of an outlier that's a part of it. But 401 Jake was actually a brand that I created during COVID 2020, a lot of time at home, a lot of chance for me to finally lean into what I wanted to do. I was a huge listener of different podcasts, Gary Vaynerchuk, Pat Flynn, all these different online passive income type of podcasts that were all talking about how to grab attention. I finally went and did it myself, build a personal brand, and it opened up more opportunities than I ever imagined. I'm flying out to New York tomorrow to get paid to speak to another group of advisors. I do that usually once or twice a month. And I never would have had that opportunity had I not started making content. And my very first video, my first process was literally just Thursday Thoughts with Jake. This is before 401 Jake even became a thing. And all I did is promise myself every Thursday I would make a video and share my thoughts that I had that week. And it was scary at first. I know it's scary because you don't know what people are going to say or think. So you just have to get going. And most of you probably didn't design your career or plan your career the way that it is. You didn't think in high school, I want to go sell health insurance or I want to sell 401ks. It's not, we all have this weird origin story. And for me, I bounced around for 10 years. But even before that, I had no idea that 401k was an industry that I wanted to do. This is me. I was running cross country in Hawaii back in 2004. I was trying to become a dentist. I was doing all the biology and sciences. I had no clue. Well, life took a turn. My wife graduated. We started our family. And I went into the investment space because I was waitlisted year after year with the dental schools, and I moved on. And I still did not find what I loved. It took 10 years for me to finally find 401k. And the reason I fell in love with it and went all in is that it turned from being an advisor, telling people what to do and try to be their psychologist when the market would go down and do crazy things, to telling them what they can do, educating them, teaching them, which has led me to this path of now helping more people do that, because it's all about learning and education now, and people love to consume that type of information when they have these problems. Now, I built multiple practices, and in 2015, I joined a benefits firm, a large regional one here in Utah, and we were able to grow the business pretty fast. And I left after a little while, went to a smaller investment firm, and we took it from 37 million to 220 million without hiring a single additional person. Now, I'll talk about how this changed dramatically here in the middle, and all of a sudden started to go up. But the point is, I've built multiple practices, and I'm now in the process of building my own, that I have no partners. It's completely me. I'm not an employee. That's a tough thing to go through, those of you that have gone through a change in firm. But it's an important thing to think about as we head into how to make video content, because we'll talk about that in just a second, but it's so important you understand your personal brand. Now, my guess is that most of you have a very similar day, whether you like it or not. You roll out of bed, maybe you do a cold plunge, maybe you go to the gym, maybe you grab a coffee, but you eventually get to where you pull out your phone or your laptop and you start looking at emails, or maybe you go to social, maybe you start to prepare for your next Zoom call. And all throughout the day, you're doing all this extra work, but you're doing it usually reacting to problems, or you're preparing for one meeting with one person, or maybe it's a committee or a group of executives. And you do all this work, and you go to the meeting, you do the great, you do the great information, you share it, you educate them, you just bring all this value. And then after the meeting, all that work is dead, gone, done. It's spent. And this is the mindset shift I need you to have. You have to stop thinking about each opportunity as work you should be doing that will reach one person. You've got to start making work actually live in a place that more than one person can consume it and understand the value you bring, even if you're at home watching Netflix, even if you're on vacation. And other industries have figured this out, but for some reason, we still haven't in the benefits space. We like to keep it all to ourselves and keep it a secret and thinking that we have something unique. And what's unique is you. It's not the information, it's you and how you deliver it and how you share it with more people. Does anybody know this name, who this person is? Does that ring any bells? He's known by another name. Do you know what it is? Anybody? No one. I'll give you a hint.
Mr. Beast.
Mr. Beast, you got it. All right, good. Mr. Beast. So those of you who don't know, Mr. Beast is a massive YouTuber. He has learned and basically dedicated his life to YouTube in a way that he's able to gather so much attention. Over like 150 million people follow him on YouTube. What about this name? A little bit different. I don't even actually know where he's from. Kabi Lame. Anyone know that name? Those of you on TikTok might. This is what he looks like. That's the face he makes in his videos. He is one of the most famous TikTok video creators in the world. He has more followers on TikTok than the Mr. Beast on YouTube. And he doesn't say anything. His videos are literally him making this face, making fun of different things or explaining different things where people are making something really confusing. And he does this face. That's it. Now, to give you some reference of how many people that really is, I mean, we had 80 people sign up. We got 40 people here today, 37 people, like 150 million. Can you believe the reach there? It's incredible. To give you some reference, The Rock, who I think is pretty famous and does not a lot of great things and has a lot of attention, only has 70 million followers, more than double. Kabi Lame has more than double. Now, I don't tell you this because I want you to make a viral video. That should never be your goal or what you're trying to accomplish. That's not what it's about. And it's not even about followers anymore. It's about attracting attention from the right people that you want to do business with, that you know you can help. And that could be as little as 10 or 20 people. It doesn't have to be millions. So what it comes down to is your personal brand. And many of you work for larger companies with bigger brands, and you kind of have come under their umbrella, and sometimes compliance can be a burden on you and you're afraid. But your personal brand is what will live with you. And it's an asset that you need to build up. And one of the greatest ways you can build your personal brand is with video content. That can be just inside your business alone, right? Think about all of the employees underneath your clients that you're able to help. And maybe you hand off those enrollment meetings to an account manager, well, or to a carrier, and they do all that education. Why couldn't you make a video explaining all that gets shared to thousands of people all across the country instead of giving that attention to someone else? There is no reason today that you can't do this. And this is what I'm doing in the 401k space. And it's no longer a game of, well, I can't scale my influence. You absolutely can scale your influence to all these people and do great work and actually free up more of your time, because now you're doing work one time that is used in the future forever. I'll give you a quick example of an experience I had. Now, I've been an advisor for a long time, and I went to a meeting with a group of doctors. I think there was like 10 of these partners. I'd been making videos through COVID for advisors, teaching them how I'd been doing what I was doing. This client had set up their 401k with a benefits broker. They had a national 401k advisor came in. They saw him one time. The plan had problems. He never called back or even checked on them. They were frustrated. Two of these partners watched a YouTube video about something I had put on YouTube about 401ks for advisors. And in that meeting, the two of them that had watched the video said, hey, why are we wasting time? Like, let's just vote right now and hire Jake. He obviously knows what he's doing. He's going to keep our fees the same or less. Let's do it. And they voted right there, and we picked up a $24 million 401k from content that I created that wasn't even for them, that is still out on YouTube. So that's where the power becomes real, when you start to stand out and you don't look like everybody else. I mean, how often do you go to a conference and everybody's got the same blue jacket on? You have to stand out. It's how you are different. It's not what you know and all the knowledge you have. It's how you're different that will help you be recognized. And video is one of the quickest ways for you to stand out right now, currently. And I see this all the time. As you start to make content, one of the biggest problems is maybe you haven't even taken LinkedIn serious yet. Maybe you still don't think that is somewhere you need to be. Well, Andy already mentioned this, and this is an actual, a lot of times I go to these workshops and I share this information, and I'll pull up profiles of everybody that attends. And this happens way too often, where someone is a ghost. They haven't taken their LinkedIn profile serious. And if I go and Google your name, your best client tells their neighbor, oh, John is awesome with my health insurance. You should call John. He'll take care of you. And then they go to Google you. Guess what pulls up? Number one or number two? It's your LinkedIn. That's your personal website for your personal brand. And if you don't have anything there, you've missed that first chance. They may or may not call you, because now they have not got any value from you. They don't even know that you're able to help them. Now, the next step is niching down. And why I bring this up before we get into video is, if you don't know who you're talking to, it's really hard to make content. It's really difficult. And I had this problem in my own practice where we were trying to help tech company, manufacturing company. We would go to a dentist's office. We go to a doctor. They're all different. And as you know, in the benefit space, there's a very different model on how you service these plans. And then there's also a different RFP process. And there's a different way that you're going to just answer the questions. There's different people that are going to be involved. Maybe they have an HR department. Maybe they don't. You need to narrow your focus. And though all of you know, Andy's talked about this many times. We tend to lean just on demographics, right? We think about like this region, this area, how big, how many belly buttons, how old they are, like all these different things. We kind of narrow down who we're talking to. The psychographics, and there's tons of content from Andy about this, and it's so important, and it's something video can help you connect with people. People have likes and interests that don't have anything to do with the actual service you sell, but that will get them to actually listen to you and want to work with you. Whether they like baseball, like football, like pizza, like steak, like doesn't matter. Like there's something that you will be able to connect with them with. And if you don't share more of that, they're never going to know, because you've got this business person and then you've got the real you hidden behind the scenes that they don't get to know until you've had them around as a client for a year. give that to the prospects and you'll see huge results. Now, going back, this is what happened for me. We realized right here, a couple of years in, that most of our clients that we were having success with were doctors. So we niched down, we focused on doctors, and we became experts in what they needed and how to service them and how to help their problems. They don't care so much about recruiting and retaining talent. They care about their tax problem they have. It's a very different model than talking to a big tech company in San Francisco. So that helped us to scale our business because we niched down. And when you think about the actual decision-making process, I don't care if this is a huge, massive company or a small company, emotions are the most critical part to get them to hire you. They're going to back up the logic that you know everything to help them to their boss or to their peers or whoever. But unless they emotionally connect, they're not going to make that move. So that is one of my favorite slides. Just burn that into your head. You've got to keep that in your head. I made this map a long time ago because I noticed in our industry, we spend a lot of money and a lot of energy over here on the right side. We spend $5,000 to $10,000 on our website every couple of years. Maybe we have big steak dinners, or we rent out a movie theater, or we have some great webinar that we think people want to listen to, or we have all this stuff we're doing over here, but no one's over here. All the attention's over here. Just look around. Look around when you're out and about. People are on their phones nonstop and they're consuming content. Those of you who got on TikTok, you understand the shift that's happening right now, because TikTok is way more addicting than previously, like LinkedIn. And why is that? Because it's shifting from a social group of your friends and family to now what you're interested in, what you like, what you want to know about, what you like to learn about and consume. And that is what's going on right now. All these platforms are trying to mimic what TikTok has done because it's way more, it's just pulling attention in night and day for hours. If you have TikTok, you've probably had some late nights and not realize it's 1 a.m. and you're still on TikTok. And it's because it's around what you are interested in. So someone that is interested in learning more about fixing their company's benefits and they know they got a big problem, they're going to look for this and they're going to start to see more of it. So we're seeing that happen in LinkedIn right now, but it's going to take some time to catch up. So when I say the term content, a lot of people get confused. When I'm talking about content, all that we sell, no one here is selling a physical product that I'm aware of. I wouldn't think that'd be the case. You're all selling something that is a service. You're making a PowerPoint. You're getting an enrollment guide. You're going and showing them how they're what they're spending with the carriers. That you're showing them all these details and data. You're selling content, and it's happening every single day. The problem is most of that content dies with each meeting. So you need to start to capture some of that and share it with more than that one person. And once that clicks in your head and you start to think that way, your whole world will change dramatically. So let's talk about digital assets, because I just shared with you the story about picking up that plan. When you make content, I think of an asset as something that produces results in the future. So when you're making a piece of content, a video, a blog post, something that can live on the internet forever, you very well could win a new client that already knows, likes, and trusts you from a piece of video content that you shared 5 years ago.
Teams and PowerPoints is,
and if you haven't started that, you're not going to have that opportunity for you.
The chat.
So most content you're sharing right now direct. It's consumed face-to-face or in a Zoom call privately. There is social and there is search. And right now, for all of you, I would say the most valuable place you should be putting content that is found on social from people scrolling and also people searching, typing out questions is LinkedIn and YouTube. Those two platforms, and I know, there's a lot of attention still on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and all these other places. And I know Nancy's on the call. She's amazing on TikTok. She's grabbing attention. It's awesome. And some else of you might be on there too. Andy just jumped on and he's been grabbing tons of attention too. But these are the two places that I would guess most of your target markets are spending time, and they may or may not ever interact with a piece of content. They may not like it. They may not make a comment. You might not even know they're there, but they are. I promise you they are. And Andy mentioned this. It's up to your creativity and consistency on whether or not this will be successful. People are going to read, listen, or watch. And I like watching the most because you can also create things they can read and listen from what you create in video. So let's jump into the 4-step video crash course. I'm going to share some things on my phone and make it very simple for you. And then we'll leave some time for questions at the end. So I have organized this in a very simple way. It's prep. You plan, you record, you post, you edit, and then you post. Plan, record, edit, post. And there's actually a step 0 that I want all of you to take. Make a note of this or do it right now. Pull out your phones and open your notes app and make a note called content ideas. If you have an iPhone, just get the notes app and literally, or if you don't have an iPhone, I don't know what it's called on Android, but make a note that you can easily, whether you wake up from a dream, you get back from a walk, you're in a client meeting, you are in the bathroom, I don't care what's happening. There's ideas hitting you all day long of pieces of content, problems people are asking you about, questions they have, inspiration that you think you want to share. Make a list. Once you start doing that, you're all of a sudden going to have this massive, I have like 5 or 6 of these notes that are huge, just idea after idea after idea. So that when you have those ideas, grab them and they're ready. When you go into this planning process, and I'm going to share with you, Andy's going to send it out. There's a web landing page I made that has this on here for you. There's a video planning guide that will help you through this process. So now you've got the idea, you set aside some time to plan. Maybe it's a half hour a week. Maybe it's an hour every 2 weeks, whatever your time is, you've got to make it just as important as any other thing, as any other thing you're doing to try and win prospects. You need to really think through why you want to make this piece of content. Who is it for? Where are you going to share it? What's the context? If you're going to put something on TikTok, it's probably going to be different than if you're going to share it on LinkedIn. People are in a different mindset, right? So you want to change it, and it might just be the caption, and that's fine. So you want to know where you're going to share it and what's the value. I see all day long on LinkedIn, people sharing a picture of you at a conference with your buddies. Cool. You're on the golf course with your buddies. That's not valuable. What's valuable in that? Share something that happened on that course that was actually valuable. What did you learn? Make a quick video at the end of that 9 holes and make a post about what actually was valuable that you could share, right? Resharing an article from the Wall Street Journal or some other magazine is not valuable. Resharing that you got an award that you probably had to pay for and encourage people to vote for, it's not valuable to other people. You're making it about you. Make it about them. What can you share that's valuable to them? And then you've got to go through this process of how you talk to people in video. No more do you need to introduce yourself. You don't need to say, we'll get into this in a second, but you don't need to say, hey, this is Jake Rushton with the Forum Club Advisors, and I have this accreditation, blah, blah, blah. Like, no one's looking at a video that's blank that doesn't have any information around it. Whether it's on YouTube, your website, LinkedIn, it all has your name. You don't need to say it anymore. Stop saying your name. And remember, one person is watching the video at a time. Even if 1,000 people at one time are watching it, they're having that interaction with you one-to-one. So talk to them directly. Hey, this might help you. Instead of, hey guys, thought this might help a few of you. Very different when you're actually the one listening to it. That one little shift can make all the difference for someone to keep watching instead of keep scrolling. So think about it. You're talking to one person. What do you want them to feel? Emotions play a part of it. You've got to get them to feel something to stop scrolling, or they're going to keep going. Either it's going to be something funny, educational. I have that problem. Like, they're going to feel something. Otherwise, they're going to keep going. And you all know Andy has drilled this into your heads. Hook, story, offer. This is very important. This is from StoryBrand. This is so critical that your videos follow this pattern of telling them right out the gate, what is it they're going to get from this video, and what's the objection they're going to have. Hey, look, I know your benefits are good and your brother-in-law is doing an awesome job, but let me tell you about this. And then you go into that story, getting them to relate to you, and then see that there's an opportunity for them to make a change, and that you know how to take them through that change. You're the guide. And that call to action, don't make it about something that's valuable to you. Give them something to do that will help them, that has no benefit to you whatsoever. Do that more often than not, and you're going to find some real results, instead of, give me a call if you want me to benchmark your whatever, or take a look at your 5,500. It's always the same selfish call to action. Get away from those. Make it valuable for them. Okay. Well, let's talk about recording. I'm going to stop sharing for a second. I want to, let me see if I can pull up my phone here. Maybe. Okay. There's my son there. Okay. So I'm going to go to the phone. You don't need to spend money. Hold on before I do that. I spent thousands of dollars on training courses on equipment. I just sold my $2,000 Sony camera this weekend because I don't use it enough. It was frustrating. I started out with like this Canon. I still have it. I'm going to sell this one. You don't need any of that crap. I actually went and bought another iPhone just for shooting video because it is so much easier, faster, and better results that I got sick and tired of these giving me issues because there'd be one setting off or something didn't happen. You have everything you need in your pocket. You don't have to spend a dime. The only thing you may want to spend is like a $15 for a tripod to hold your phone. That's it. And you don't have to do anything crazy as far as getting all this equipment. It's not going to get you better results. One hack as you record, I will share, is if you think I don't have time for video, set up a tripod like this next to your actual laptop when you're having that Zoom meeting with a client and start recording yourself explaining something to them in the moment, forgetting the camera's there. You don't have to duplicate anything. You're going to grab great content there. You can edit out all of the client private stuff you don't want to share. That is one of the best ways to get started. It's just capturing what you're already doing day to day on a video call. And you'll be amazed at how easily that can get some attention. So I'm going to show you, let's see, go back into my phone. All right, so I'm on my phone here, right? So you're going to go in here, and if you have an iPhone 13 or newer, 13 or 14, you have what's called cinematic mode. Now, that's what is great about some of these expensive cameras is you can get that blurry background. You can see the background's blurred now. That's a benefit of having a newer iPhone. I don't know much about Androids. I'm a huge Apple guy, but this is what you need to do is grab your phone and do cinematic. And when you shoot, if you're going to talk long, you're going to go over like a couple minutes. You're probably going to want to do it like this and turn it to the side because that's what's going to go on your YouTube long. That's messing me up. I got too many cameras. You're probably going to want to turn it this way for the long format content, right? But all the other content on social media, LinkedIn or YouTube Shorts, for the short stuff like you see in Andy's and my pages, you need to do vertical, okay? And if you want to make the long format and turn it into vertical, then you can do that. You want to shoot in, if you have the space on your phone, 4K and 24 frames a second. So I'll go back in and show you where that's at. The top of your screen, I'm going to turn this way. Okay. So when I'm in cinematic, you can see the top, there's the f-stop. That will allow me to change the blur to less blur or blurry. But I'm going to stop and go back to video. And you can see your settings here. You can change at the top right to HD and 30, which is 1080p or 4K and 30, but change it to 24. It's more cinematic. It will be less like a soap opera. It's just a different look. But 4K is going to be a little bit larger size file, but that's okay if you have the space. If it becomes a burden, then just switch to HD and it's totally fine. But don't overthink it. I'm going to show you a video, and we're going to go through editing process in a second. But if you don't have a good space to shoot, the best thing to do, number one, get your camera up here, instead of up your nose with I have a window this way. You don't want to shoot like that and have your head be a silhouette. So just get your phone up here, go outside. The sound will be better. You don't even need a microphone. Your microphone on your iPhone is incredible. And just start recording. We've done some great videos with people where they just go out on a walk and they'll share their video. And the editing process is where we make it really stand out and pop. And I'll walk you through that in a second. But don't be afraid to shoot because every single time you go out and make a video, it's going to get better and better. And most of you will feel more comfortable shooting a video by yourself than someone else. Your spouse or somebody will shoot it. You'll freeze up. You'll do something different. So if you're like that, which I'm the same way, just get a tripod or just hold it with your arm. You don't need anything else. Okay. And just start shooting. Most of you will go into that same pattern of looking like everyone else. Introduce yourself. You'll save the hook for the end. You'll get out of that eventually. But right now we'll just have to work in editing to move that hook to the beginning. So with the short time we have, I want to walk you through editing really quick because this is where I got stuck. I spent months recording videos that never got shared. I tried to learn Premiere Pro, Final Cut Pro, all these really expensive, hard editing softwares. Waste of time. You do not need that. I looked at hiring somebody really expensive to have an editor do my work. So I took it on myself. And what I found is that creative element that is needed to tell my voice and build my brand is something that you need to go through, right? When you spend time learning a new product, a new carrier, a new whatever, you put effort into it. It's a skill that you want to know and learn. For some reason, editing, we think we're above. You're not above it. You need to learn this. And when you go through the process, eventually you could hire it out. But right now, editing is where the magic really can happen. So I want to just show you like a 2-minute editing so that you can easily make your videos stand out so much better. So I'm going to go into my editing tools here. This is a free tool called CapCut. Okay. It's got a lot of different templates and things, but all I'm going to do, I shot a video outside my backyard right before this call, and I'm going to grab that video, pull it in here to my editing. Okay. And I do all my editing mostly on my phone, either at my kids' football practice or baseball practice or wherever I am, I can edit. And let's say you've got a button you're going to push. But that's the wrong one. I'm going to pull a different video in, this one. So maybe you've got your hand up in the beginning, you're pushing the record button, you want to edit that first part out. You highlight that at the bottom. You just click on this down here, the actual video. And the bottom left is a little split button. I split it. And if I want to make this larger, I can expand it out and just spread it out. And I can highlight that again. There's a delete button at the bottom right. Delete it. Gone. Now it goes right in. Hey, everybody, what's going on? So you do not want to have any wasted time. You want to go right into what you're saying. So cut that first part out. Same thing at the end. Maybe you want to cut out the end. Maybe you want to add a logo at the end. So you go in here, you grab your photos. Let's grab, I can grab like my K, right? Maybe you have a disclosure you want to add. There, it's added. Finish talking, it goes right to that. Oh, I want it to end a little bit nicer. Cool. I'll click on this little like minus sign that's kind of up and down line right there between the two, the video and the graphic. Now I've got all these transitions. I love this blur one, bubble blur. See that? Like 2 clicks and there I go. I got a much better ending. That's how simple it is. Now you've seen Andy's videos. There's great captions that we're using. And that is a tool called Caption. And it's not free. It's like $10 a month or $50 a year. And you don't have to use that. There's captions in CapCut for free, but they're just not as good. Sometimes there's some errors. So I like this app better. So what I would do is I would go into that Captions app and I would just load that video in, and it will just create the captions for you automatically. So I'm not going to do it here because it takes a couple of seconds, but it will create those captions. The last step in my editing process, I use Splice. Now this tool is very much like CapCut, but it has a much deeper library of music. Music brings emotions, and I love to get emotions in my videos. Whether you do a music at the beginning or end, you can come in here and I got all these different options. You can pull in from your iTunes if you want to post it on LinkedIn. If you post anything on YouTube that is not like has licenses, you're going to have it pulled. So LinkedIn is not there yet, but I would still get in the habit of not using those unless it's something private you're sharing. So you can come in here and just listen. There's so many different options. You find the right one and you just throw it on there. So editing is a process where you're able to tell that story even stronger. You can cut out the mistakes you made. So just get shooting, download CapCut for free, and just start making your videos and have fun with it. And then all of a sudden you realize you get faster and faster, and then you've got it ironed out. Now you have 10, 20, 30, 50 videos. Now you can hire someone and say, hey, this is what I like. This is my style. This is my voice. Now, to do this for me, how much is that going to cost? Then you can get your time back and have them do it for you, right? You still have to be the one recording. Last step, and we got, oh, we're out of time. Okay, well, last step is posting. Now, I just want to leave this idea for you because it's so important. You don't have to just do social. If you're sharing a video, think about following up with a prospect with a video next time. If you haven't used this tool called Loom or BombBomb or VidGrid, this is how you can share a video through email that I promise you will have a much more likelihood of getting clicked on than just your standard email that says, hey, just checking in, just following up. Send them a quick video telling them what's been up, giving them some value. And also this software will tell you if they looked at it or not. Because the video is too big to send an email, but when you use Loom, it actually keeps it in the cloud and you can send it in a GIF, which is you moving a little bit, and they'll click on it. It's fascinating. So don't be the judge of your content. Let the market judge. Let your clients judge. If there's something that takes off, great. If it doesn't get any likes, who cares? Move on. My last little thing, you're gonna get down on yourself because you might not get interactions. Go and interact with other people. Spend 2% of your day or 30 minutes interacting with people, your target market, making comments instead of just consuming. Go make comments on their posts. Last thing, don't worry about the algorithm. You're gonna love this kind of stuff. Oh, I should post at this time of day, and this is what I should say. No, post something that someone would want to share that's valuable, that does no benefit to you, but only benefits them. Don't worry about any of this crap. This is going to change every day. No, you're never going to beat it. Just make valuable content. We're going to continue to see advances. Who knows what the future holds as far as people consuming content and what that will look like. But I can only imagine it's going to get better and better. And as people judge you and say dumb things, or, you feel like, my uncle just told me how dumb this video was, you're going to get hit. People are going to judge, and it's mostly because they're jealous that they're not doing it too, and they want to be bold enough to do what you're doing. Take those hits, keep going forward, keep it Rocky style, stay strong, and make this moment the moment where you change your direction of your life. Everyone remembers Tom Green. He got banned from MTV, crazy dude. He was one of the first people that had an internet TV show, a podcast, basically. It was a video podcast. This is Joe Rogan. He was not the Joe Rogan of today. He was literally just on this show, and he was going through this moment. You look up this clip on YouTube, and it's mind-blowing, because this is when he realized the power of podcasting and took action after this and turned it into a $100 million business for himself. He was just a Fear Factory host. No one knew him, and he became Joe Rogan. So make this your moment where you're inspired to go take action. Start making videos. Go through that prep process. Go to that landing page that Andy's going to send out, and make it happen, and doors will open you never knew were even there. That's all I got. I'll stop for questions. I'll stick around if you have any. I know we're over 3 minutes.
No, we got a couple more minutes. I'm going to share one quick story, guys, before we go into Q&A. So you can either put your questions, Jake, that was phenomenal. Put your question in the chat box, or just get ready, think about the question you have. And I want to share one quick story with you guys. We have a client who I've had the fortunate opportunity. I did a VIP day with him last August. And he was committed to doing video content, and I'll keep him nameless for now because I didn't ask him to share the story. And he committed. He was going to put content out every day on video. And in August, late August, he started doing this. In October, I get a text message, and the text said, "Hey man, the haters are out in full force." And I said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "I'm getting messages from my peers being like, 'What are you trying to be famous on LinkedIn?'" And I said, "Don't listen to them." I said, "You're making them look in the mirror, and they don't want to do that. They don't want to put the work you're putting in." 2 weeks later, I get another text. He gets a message from a prospect on LinkedIn after one of his videos is posted. That conversation turned into a $70,000 AOR. Now, fast forward, February. He gets invited to participate in an RFP. Meanwhile, he's putting out this content every day. He ends up, after 2 declines, participating at the request of the company. He becomes one of the finalists with 7 other advisors who all work for firms bigger than him. He keeps putting out his content. 8 total advisors gets narrowed down to 3. He presents again. He's putting content out there. He ends up winning the entire RFP, and I asked him, "What role did your content on LinkedIn have to play in you winning the RFP, if it did at all?" And he said, "Oh, it had a ton, because I was connected to the CEO and the CFO of the company. And when I went and presented twice, they told me I had all the credibility I needed because they saw my content on LinkedIn and it matched exactly what came out of my mouth in the presentations." By the way, this RFP totaled him almost a $1 million commission. Guys, putting video content out there will change your business if you're willing to do it and willing to stay consistent. It's changed mine. It's changed Jake's. It's changed our client and many other clients who have done it and stepped into the discomfort, because it creates that likability and credibility that none of your competitors are grabbing right now. So with that being said, I know some of you are putting questions in the chat box. Anybody want to unmute themselves and have a question they want to fire at Jake?
Yeah, I have a question. Jake, really, and Andy, appreciate you your time today. But the call to action at the end of the video, I was never a fan of the reach out to me if you have questions line. So what are your usual go-to thoughts on how to end a video?
I personally just like to give them something to go do. It could be something so small and simple. And you don't have to have on every video, but it's just something tiny. It doesn't need to be something directly leading back to business with you. And I think that's the hard thing to get over is most people are trained thinking that's what has to happen every time, like an advertisement. Social is not for selling. Social is to connect and get to know each other. So if there's not a good one, then just don't do it. But if there is something that they can learn from your story and go benefit from, send them off to challenge them to do it.
Sure. So it's like trust the process that it will return dividends long term.
Yeah, it'll take time. Like that's a big part of this is it's a very patient process. It could lead to someone reaching out tomorrow that finds your post and finds your video and has that exact problem that they're going through. And they're like, this is perfect. Or it could be someone that just lurks around and watches you for 2 years and then eventually jumps on board, but you didn't do any extra work for that. And 5 other people could have had the same experience, right? And that's that digital asset thought. So it's a patience game for sure.
Thank you.
I want to add something to what Jake just said. There are 3 quick takeaways. Number 1, you never know when a piece of content's going to land on somebody. And this is why consistency is important. You could put stuff out there for weeks and nobody ever responds, but then on the right day, your video hits that person's feed. They just had a conversation about being upset with their broker and they see you and you're the one they think of. That's one reason why you have to be consistent. Number 2, to Jake's point about it's about creating awareness and connections and not selling. Guys, the people that will end up partnering with you or buying from you because of your content, I promise you will never comment or like on your stuff, but they're watching. They're watching. And that is all that matters. And so this is why consistency matters, is because you never know when it's going to land on the right person. So you just got to keep putting out there, and on the right day, it's going to hit that person. And all of a sudden you've got an opportunity you didn't even really have to work hard to get.
Quick question, if I can.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Jake. So I just saw your tip here on sending video or like an audio message to the blind connections on LinkedIn. Is that kind of like a start to a relationship? Like you're thanking them for connecting? Are you having some sort of call to action? You know, I just get
I mean,
worried
with
with direct selling right off the bat.
Yeah, I mean, it's just something that's it's a pattern disrupt. So they're probably not even aware that there's a way you can send an audio voicemail or a video through message. Right. You can't do it until you're connected. So if there's a reason to connect, maybe you met them. I always, every meeting before or after, I'm trying to connect with everybody I can, right? Because we had an opportunity to get to know each other. I treat LinkedIn as like my place. I keep track of everyone. So once they do connect, that's where you can just say, hey, so glad we're connected. I'm excited to get to know and see what you're up to. That's it. Don't even like make it a strong call to action is my opinion, but there may be a situation where you're ready to.
Yeah, I would, David, I'd add to this. We teach this in our LinkedIn course. How many voicemails are your prospects getting from other brokers? A ton, right?
A lot. Yep.
How many voicemails are they getting? Voice messages are they getting on LinkedIn? None. So it's a great way to stand out. And one thing I would tell you to add in your message is all you got to do is say, hey, thanks for the connection. But then say, I put a lot of content out here. I hope you enjoy it. Give them the heads up. Oh, by the way, I put content out here. It's a great way. It's a good pattern disrupt, as Jake said, and it'll help you stand out.
Got it. And you're trying to pull the eyeballs back to you. Got it. Cool.
And there's less barriers to entry, right? Because you can't just walk in an office. Most people aren't even in an office anymore. You can't just cold call them because they can hit one button and block every cold call.
Yep.
Emails, there's someone that their assistant could be reading emails and blocking everything. So most people don't have someone reading their LinkedIn messages, and some will pay attention, some won't, but it's at least a little bit more direct path to them than other ways.
Thanks a lot, guys.
I got one other quick question for you guys, if we still have a little time.
We'll do one more and then wrap up here. Go ahead, Rachel.
This will be a quick one. I don't know you if you know this, Andy, I've talked to you before, but I tend to ramble a lot. So a lot of times on the videos that I do, I use a platform, Co-Video, that it gives me the ability to like type out a script so I can kind of stay on track. But I don't like that with Co-Video, you have to like click and like go somewhere else to watch it instead of it just like scrolling through on LinkedIn. Do you guys know of any like app or something that gives you that ability to kind of have a script like on your phone as you're recording?
Yep. So
Jake
captions
apparently
or
does.
sorry, CapCut, you can actually go up here to camera
Uh-huh.
and you can hit teleprompter.
Oh, there you go.
You can type in whatever you want and then it will record it. So hi, it'll just pause and then it'll go.
Okay.
You can change this and have it do whatever you want. The other hack to that, I would say, script it out, but then record one sentence at a time. Say one sentence, and then you're going to put them all together because that's going to be a great pattern disrupt. And even if you move positions, saying one sentence at a time, you can usually remember that. And then you're going to just put it in CapCut, drop all those videos in, put them as one video. But now it just kind of keeps shifting. It keeps people engaged looking at it. Sounds crazy, but it works.
Good advice. Thank you.
You bet. Well, guys, I want to thank you for taking the time to be here. I know we went a little longer than expected. Guys, just take that first step, especially for my folks on here who have been hesitant to do that first video. Just put it out there. I'm going to give you a piece of advice. You're going to suck at it, and that's okay. Because as long as you keep coming back, it's like anything else. There was a time you guys didn't know how to drive, and you now know how to drive texting and eating and shaving all at the same time, right? And so just put in the work. You will get better with it. Be on the lookout. You're going to get an email from us. It's going to have Jake's video planning guide. It's going to give him some of the, he's going to share some of the equipment he recommends. So be on the lookout for that because you'll get everything in that guide as well. So Jake, thank you, man. This was
appreciate everyone being here.
phenomenal. And for everybody else, start creating that video content, likability and credibility. You'll thank yourself. All right, good. Have a great afternoon, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.